Gym rat husband, 25M, fat shamed me, 25F. I, 25F, recently got married to my husband, 25M, in late November of 2024 after we've been dating for almost 5 years. Recently my husband has gotten into fitness and he's very active at the gym and his effort paid off. I on the other hand have tried going to the gym with him, but I found that after my office work, I'm always too out of energy to keep up the same gym routine as my husband. After some time I stopped going to the gym. I'm around 130 pounds and I've been that same weight for as long as I've known my husband, and I've always felt pretty comfortable about my weight, so I didn't care much for going to the gym. Recently, I started noticing him making remarks about my appearance, giving me nicknames like chunky monkey, fat baby, etc. He does this every time I'm in the middle of eating and it kills my appetite immediately. I started lashing out at him and asking him why he's body shaming me, and he said he only making jokes. At some point he apologized and admitted that he saw me lounging around the house too much and that he did what he did so I would try to go back to the gym. At his explanations I was baffled. I have gotten myself a good 3 weeks break after feeling very burnt out from work that year, and I have been feeling very low energy, so for that reason I've been staying indoors and not going out. His reasonings made me feel like I didn't deserve to earn a break and relax. Throughout our entire relationship, there was a time when he gained a lot of weight, and I have never made any comments on his appearance as I appreciate him not only for his looks but his character. And for the last 5 years, I also thought he didn't care about my appearance as well. So for his sudden comments on my appearance, I feel utterly betrayed, because I am still the same weight I was when we first met and started dating. I'm not confident I can ever see my appearance through a positive lens after this incident. I'm at a loss and unsure how to recover from this. How do I move forward? Too long did not read. Ever since my husband started working out he also started fat shaming me. He feels that he has upgraded himself and that he deserves better. Never mind that you loved him even when he was fat. Maybe you should really evaluate the entirety of the relationship and how that thinking of his might affect your relationship if you get sick, have a baby, or if he starts earning significantly more money. Wow, he sounds like a real asshole. Has your husband always bullied you, or is that a recent development that came alongside his gym fixation? So along with getting fit he decided he can also be verbally abusive. He's being a total awe. I imagine he'd be ashamed if his family knew he spoke to you like that. It's like he says it because he knows you'll stop eating. That is such gross behavior. It's controlling and manipulative. I'm so sorry. You deserve better. You deserve to be able to rest and relax. What happens if you get pregnant? Will his verbal abuse get worse? I hope he hears you when you say how it makes you feel. I'd recommend couples therapy, but truthfully I'd never look at him the same way after being treated like that. I'd walk away if it were me. Update me. That's shit. If you make more money than him, ask him if he'd like that thrown in his face. This is pretty toxic behavior. I am so sorry. Unfortunately your partner is showing you who he is, and that is basically a schoolyard bully. I would like you to take a long hard look at your relationship, and see if this is a pattern of behavior you find elsewhere in him. Maybe you can have a heart-to-heart with him about the effect his uncalled for words have on you. But ultimately you may not be successful in getting him to change how he treats you. However, you do get to decide what you do about it. I, 21F, and my boyfriend, 21M, didn't get my anything on my b-day. How do I go forward? I'm a 21-year-old woman, and my boyfriend, who's also 21, and I have been together for almost 10 months. This was our first birthday together, and I had just turned 21, so it felt like a pretty big deal. He took me out to breakfast, and I ordered the cheapest thing because, honestly, that's just how I am. Afterward, we had reservations at Topgolf, and by my second drink, he kept saying, "I don't know how much this bill is going to be." It made me uncomfortable, so I stopped ordering drinks, thinking he was worried about not being able to afford it. The weird part is, he makes more money than I do and still lives with his parents. As the night went on, I started to feel really disappointed. I didn't get a card, flowers, or anything small to mark the occasion. I'm not the type to ask for extravagant gifts, but I would have appreciated a simple balloon or some flowers. I live on my own, pay my own bills, and even though I make less than him, I would have still made an effort to get him something for his birthday. It really hurt my feelings. By the end of the night, he was more drunk than I was. He was pretty much blacked out and ended up making me cry. I begged him to stop making me cry on my birthday, and his response was to look at his phone and say, "It's not your birthday anymore." Then he left, and I was left alone, crying on my birthday. How do I move forward with this? You are a strong independent woman who lives on her own and pays her own bills. You can do a lot better than a Scrooge who gets trashed on your birthday, raises his eyebrows at the bill, and didn't even get you a gift. I mean, the better question is why you want to go forward with this? Give yourself the gift of standards for your 21 stone, sis. Eject this fool and laugh at yourself for allowing your bar to stoop so low. Just end it. He doesn't care about you. He made that clear. You don't. When someone really shows you who they are, believe them. It's not okay to get blackout drunk and leave you in tears on any day. The guy who will do that and talk to you as he did, isn't a guy who will buy you a birthday present. It's sad that you were even asking about the lack of a gift when he treated you horribly. Don't be the woman who makes excuses for the inexcusable. I was going to leave a very different comment until I got to the "no longer your b-day" and leaving you in tears part. This is not a quality human being that should be released back to the wild. You can, and should, do way better than being treated so poorly. You break up with that thoughtless man-child is what you do. You deserve a man who will treat you with love and respect. Not this callous disregard and alcoholism. Please think about it. I spent years of my life tolerating this kind of crap in a relationship because we loved each other. Turns out, he loved how I was willing to sacrifice everything for him and he just sat on his ass. 35F, 38M. I think I feel violated. Was I disrespected or am I being too harsh? I've been dating a guy for the last few weeks. We talked about getting physical and I said I don't want to have sex without condoms and asked him to purchase some. He said okay. We finally go to have sex and he doesn't use a condom. I stop him after a few minutes. I told him that I felt like my boundaries were disrespected. He said that he felt like we were agreeing to have sex without condoms at that moment and felt like because I didn't bring it up then that I was okay with it. I feel that I should break things off with him. Am I being too extreme? Could he just have been caught up in things? As a guy, it's willful ignorance and no respect. If you bring it up once, shouldn't have to be brought up again. Move on. Correct. He doesn't respect you. You might want to get tested if he inserted inside you without one. You don't know what he has. He knew what he was doing. You set a very clear, very reasonable boundary with him. He chose to ignore it. You are definitely not overreacting. Unless you tell him otherwise, he should always start with the condom. This was sexual assault. You only consented to sex with a condom, and he knew that, yet attempted to proceed anyway. His reaction to your complaint is all you need to tell you exactly what any kind of relationship with him is likely to be like. In the future, purchase your own condoms and insist on their use. That's it, 38-year-old man. He knew what he was doing. I hope you didn't proceed. Don't accept that, you're not being extreme at all. I have instantly lost attraction for my boyfriend and I don't know how to proceed. 23 female 26 male. Hi everyone, I'm going through a bit of a tough time right now in general and something minor that happened with my boyfriend has made me feel unattracted to him. I'm not sure if this is permanent but right now I feel grossed out. To preface, I grew up with alcoholic parents and suffered a lot of abuse from that. For this reason it is difficult for me to be around extremely drunk people especially when I'm totally sober. It just makes me uncomfortable. My boyfriend knows this about me but he is a pretty heavy drinker himself so I have witnessed him drunk and had to tell him to tone it down around me or not call me when he's been drinking. The other night I had a big day ahead of me so decided to go to bed early. I wake up in the middle of the night to him calling me and thinking it might be an emergency, I answer. It was not an emergency, he was just super drunk and trying to tell me how much he loved me. I know this is objectively a sweet thing to do aside from the fact that he woke me up when I needed to be up early, but I just felt so annoyed and grossed out. I still haven't recovered from this feeling and I don't know how to recover. I love him so much and want to be with him but I just feel so unattracted to him now and it's breaking my heart. I have talked to him about this and he apologized but I'm not sure what can be done to fix this. Maybe I just need more time but if this persists I don't know that I will still want to be in this relationship. If anyone has gone through something similar, did you ever get over that feeling? And what helped you to work through it? The problem isn't the fact that he called you in the middle of the night. Shit like this happens in relationships. Healthy and compatible couples survive things like this and move on. The problem is you have unresolved trauma with drinkers and you're dating a heavy drinker. Think about that decision. History repeats itself. You grew up living with the effects of alcohol and you're doing it again in your relationship. Your two options here are to break it off and find someone else who drinks less. Or, have a frank conversation with this guy about his drinking and that he needs to change. I'm sorry that you had to go through that sort of thing growing up, that's awful. Have you given yourself time to process and heal that trauma? You may benefit from going to therapy and speaking with a professional. Honestly, given your trauma with alcoholics, I'm shocked that you chose to be with someone that drinks heavily. Was he always this way? I agree with you, Catchquack, about the ick. Give it some time and revisit. Wishing you the best of luck, op. I believe kids these days call it the ick. He gave you the ick. You don't come back from the ick. I say give it another week or two. If the feeling persists, time to move on. He broke a boundary you've expressed on, I'm assuming, more than one occasion. I've lived WA drunk who didn't think it was a problem and it is not fun. If he's not willing to cut back and or get some help, then I don't know that y'all will work out long term anyway. Sounds like you aren't compatible.